Well, hello everybody. We got a really good one for you today. Look at this. Absolutely beautiful. It's an ear warmer headband and it's a Tunisian knit stitch. It works up very fast, believe it or not. And it's gorgeous. Has a nice stretch to it. Has a twist to it. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. You can play around with it till you got your twist right. But anyway, we're going to dive right into this, okay? I have used a 5.5 millimeter hook. I can't find my 5.5 clover hook, or that's exact. No, can't use clover hook for Tunisian. That's why I'm not using it. So I'm using a regular 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. I got some beautiful wooden heart buttons. I need one red one. I used my wonderful Hobby Lobby yarn. This color is called lime green. I also used Hobby Lobby yarn. I love this yarn. This is just red. I also used Hobby Lobby yarn. I love this yarn. And this is just white. Okay. And then you'll need a darning needle. And I strongly recommend a stitch marker for Tunisian. It will help you with the edging. So we're going to move right over and we're going to dive into this, and you're going to love this. It's fun, it's easy, and it's nice and thick. So let's get to it. Okay, to do this Grouchy elf ear warmer, I wanted to talk about a few things before I start showing you how to do this. Tunisian crochet rolls a lot, as you can see. But doing this project, that rolling has no effect on the end product at all, which is what I love about this. Now, it has some stretchiness to it. Not 100% like maybe the slip stitch or the half double, but it definitely does. And what else is really nice, it's very thick. There's definitely a wrong side versus the right side. But one of the things that's crucial in doing Tunisian is understanding how to keep your edging straight. If you look at the edging, let me bring it in. If you look at the edging, it looks like it's just a chain going all the way down the side. But then if you look at this side of it, it looks like the same thing. But when you turn it over, it doesn't. So, showing you how to do this, you need to understand, and I'm going to show you very closely a few times where your edging is. And what I do is I use a stitch marker. It seems truly inconvenient taking it in and out every single row, because the rows, once you understand it, the rows go really fast. But this will save you from tearing your project out, because you'll say, good, 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 and then you'll stop doing it midway. And then it gets all cockeyed and crooked and all, because you just can't see it. So my name of the game is this beautiful little stitch marker that works perfect. Okay. Now you can use regular crochet hooks for this because it's not a wide project. For my project, I used a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. That is all I used. And you can obviously pick all your colors that you want. You can do one straight color. You can just do two colors for all different seasons. You can do pink for Valentine's Day. Your choices, you can do rainbow. Your choices are endless on this. But for this project, I'm doing the green, the red, and the white. And I was actually thinking about doing a sparkle red, but this is supposed to be a grouchy, grumpy elf, so I don't think sparkle would work in it for me. That's just my thoughts, my 2 cents. So, all right. Now what I did is I did a chain of 17. It felt like that one extra chain to make it nice, 18, it was too long. But you can do Sorry, it's very early morning here today. You can do any chain of thickness that you want, but just understand, if you do a much wider thickness, you're probably going to want to move over to a Tunisian hook that has the end stop on here, so your loops aren't falling off, because that would be very, very frustrating. And this is number 4, acrylic. We're going to dive into this because this is really, once you understand the basics, you're golden. And the sad part is there's not many videos out there really going into specific detail on how to be successful at Tunisian crochet. And that's what I'm here for. I want you to be successful. And my recommendation is always to start with smaller projects and have some successes with smaller projects before you dive into the big ones. And then you'll also see the twist at the end of this. Wait till you see it. It is super, it's much more simplistic than you could have ever thought, which is great. All right, so I'm going to zoom you out just a little. You start with your normal slip knot and do your chain. And I'm going to just do a 15 chain for demonstration. Now understand, if you chain 15 the whole entire project, every time you do your first pass going down, you're going to have 15 loops. So whatever you start with is what you should always have on your hook before you do your return pass, and I'll explain all that. So I did a chain of 15, so I should have 15 loops on my hook. But the first row, we're going to use the back humps, because what this does by doing the back loops, it gives you that chain finish for when we're putting it together. It's easy to match stitch for stitch. All right. So now we're going to turn it over. And never, I don't ever want you going into this first loop right here that's attached to your hook, okay? We'll be going into the second vertical bar from the hook. So this is the first, this is the second, okay? So you just put your hook in there. And you grab, please try to wrap over on this project. You really don't want to be wrapping under. Try to remind yourself wrapping over. That is important, because if you wrap under, it's going to cause your stitches to curl. Okay, wrap over and go through and leave it on your hook. And then you're going to do that again into the next bar. And in every bar. My memo's in here with me. Okay. So just every loop. This part is that this is the only time that you do this part. Okay. All right. So let's count. 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. All right. So this is where your stitch marker is going to come into play. So please watch this before you do it, because I want you to really, really understand. You wrap over and you go through just one loop. Right there she is. Now, if you look closely, when you went through the loop, it looks like you have a crochet stitch right there. Okay? You can see the full stitch. And then if you turn it sideways, here's the top loop of that full stitch, and here's the back loop, back bar. To get your edge straight, you look at your full stitch, you go through the top loop and the back bar. Okay? And you just mark it. After that, you wrap, you go through 2, and you wrap, and you go through 2. And that's all you do is wrap and just take 2 off all the way. Wrap, wrap, and take 2 off. To the very end. Until you have one loop left on your hook. And you just did, this is considered one row. You did your forward pass and you did your back. Okay, so now the next step is, see these little bars that you did? All these vertical bars. Not the one that's on your loop, but these, and these, and all of them. If you spread them apart, there's a bar that's in the front, and there's a bar that's in the back. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting your hook right through the center, but when you go through, you want to go through and through to the back. I'll show you. Do not go in to this first bar. That's part of your working chain right now. Go into the second bar and put your hook through that hook and push it through in the back. And then you grab some yarn and bring it up. That is it. And then you go to the next one. Go through it and then push back. Make sure when you're going through, you're not going to the next bar. You're just going through and back. Once you get a couple rows in, it gets a lot easier to see. But don't be afraid to tug on it, pull it apart, so you can find the stitches that you're working in. Don't forget this last one down here before your end. Okay, and before I do the end, I count, and because I need 15 loops, I should have 14. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. And for your last one, where you have your stitch marker in, you actually just go in to where you put your stitch marker. Once you know you got your hook in there properly and safely, take off your stitch marker, wrap, and go through both. This end will tighten up. I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so that's your forward pass. Now you're on a wrap and go through one. And again, there's your forward. Stay on the screen. There's your front facing chain. You want to turn it sideways and get that top loop and the back loop, and just mark it. Now the rest of the way is a wrap. You go through 2 all the way down. All the way down till you have 1 loop left on your hook. And that is 2 rows that you have finished now. And we're just going to keep repeating that. You spread, never go in your first one, go in your second, and you draw up your loop. Just like that. And I always suggest, before you do your last one, count. Make sure your counts are right. For mine, if you wanted to know, I did 17. I chained 17. And make sure you get this last one right there. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Wait a minute. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. Now my last one, where my stitch marker is, I just put my crochet hook exactly where my stitch marker is. Take it out, wrap, and go through. Then you wrap, and you go through. See your chain right there? You do the side part. There. And if you can look, it's like, now this part where it's loose, now is a good time where you can snug that up. And then you just wrap and you do your back pass as normal. Okay. So that is all. That is to how doing this headband. This is what we're going to be doing, okay? But I want to switch over to mine. Now, let's talk measurements here a little bit. Okay. My head circumference personally is 22 inches. These will have a 3-ish, 4-ish stretch. Okay, so I have decided to do about an 18, 19-inch headband for me. So you have to decide what length you want. Now, because half of the band is going to be green, and the other half is going to be the red and white stripes, I chose to do, for me personally, for my hook size, I did 40 rows of this. And you can count your rows easy by counting your chains. Nice, huh? So I did 40 rows. Now to do the red and white, because each section of white and red is going to be 7 rows, and I need 6 of them. 7 times 6 is 42. All right. So you can start with white. You can start with red. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to start with is absolutely 100% fine. I just want to show you how to start. So I am going to put 2 loops back on my hook just to show you. Well, there we go. So when you're wrapping and coming back your back pass, when you have 2 loops left, all you do is you start your next color. Here it is. Okay, you start your next color. No slip knot, but leave a long tail, and we will be showing you how to weave in at the end. Leave a long tail. Drape over your new color and just pull through. Okay. So then all you do you start just doing normal. Your normal first pass. Just like that. And that's all. It is a normal join. You should cut your old yarn, but again, leave a long enough tail. Okay. Now, if you choose to change your color, before you go to the back pass, which you absolutely are allowed to. When you change it the same way as you did down here. But this pass is going to be half your one color and half, like if I change, I'm not going to change it because I don't want to change it, but if you chose to change it here, so the bottom part of your stitch is going to be your forward pass, and the top half of the stitch is going to be your return pass. And that's all that's to it. I'm personally doing 7 rows of red, forward and back. Each one is considered 1 row. Then I'm going to switch to white, then I'm going to switch to red, and keep going back and forth until I have 6 alternating colors of red and white. It's the exact same stitching as we showed in the beginning, and this will go fast for you. You'll be amazed. So I am going to catch you back after I get my red and white done, and we're going to show how to seal this shut, because you need to do that, because you can't just end it and say you're done. You got to actually seal these stitches up, and then I'll show you how to join it. And I have a little heart to add on to it for the heart of the elf. Adorable. We'll see you at the end. Okay, so here we are. I did 6 color changes, and remember I did 7 rows each, and you can count your rows by your chains on the side. So Did the green. I did 40 rows of the green. And remember, I also used a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, just a regular crochet hook. Then I did 7 rows of red, 7 rows of white, and for 6 total different color changes. And I did weave in most of my ends, but I'm going to show you how to weave in an end at the end of this, just in case you need help with that. I want to make sure that you have all the tools you need to be truly successful at this. So at the end, after my last 7th row, with Tunisian, you cannot just cut and knot. You have to put a finishing row on, and that's actually quite easy. So how you've been doing it, you've been going in and grabbing your yarn. Well, that's all we're going to do, but they're going to be slip stitches. But let me also remind you, do not make these tight. Do not go for the tightest possible choice, okay? So I finished my back pass. Then you put it in normal, like you would be, like I showed you. Pull up yarn, okay? And then you just slip stitch. That's it. So you're going to do that on every one. So you're going through it like you're doing all your previous knit stitches. This stitch is called the knit stitch that you did today. There's many more stitches, and slowly but surely I will be doing more and more tutorials in Tunisian. Some people call it an advanced crochet. I don't know. I don't know if I call it advanced crochet. It's just another technique that you can do. That's how I feel about it. And then you make sure you do your chain end. And once you slip stitch, then you can be done with your stitch marker. Chain 1. Now I need you guys to please leave a long tail. Very important. Just pull through. All right. Now, with the right side facing you, so the right side will be technically inside out right now. You take your ends and you fold it like a little sandwich, just the end. Okay. And then you do that again on the opposite side. Okay. So then you just open it and you intertwine them. Okay, just intertwine them and make sure everything's pulled up. Make sure everything is tucked in the way it needs to be tucked in. And then I should have had this ready. Oh, I got to get that before I start walking around. Anyway, just shows you I'm human sometimes too with a lot of this. Thread my darning needle. So since my end here is in the center, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it out between a snitch to get it out. And also what it does is it tucks it in there. See, did you see how that just pulled it in there nice and snug? I'm doing it. Oop, banging the camera on you guys. All right. And then we're going to stitch all these together. So make sure when you're going through all these, make sure you're grabbing all the stitches. You worked so hard on this. You really want it to stay together for you. Did you see how my green just tucked itself down in there and tried to hide? You don't want that. Like I said, just take your time. And then you're going to be go through the full stitches. Now is not a time to try to play dainty with this. This is going to be the inside, so you're honestly not going to see this, but you still don't want it to be sloppy. Again, just keep checking yourself. Make sure. See how that keeps tucking down? Make sure you got it all. So when I get down here, see my end? I'm going to knot this real good. And then I am going to slowly whip stitch just the center now. because you want that end in there really good. When you're content with it, you can weave it in. Now, to weave in your ends, it's just like crocheting. You just go back and forth in these bumps till you're content that it's going to be tight enough and secure enough. But make sure you're not going through to the right side. I'm going to need a thinner needle. And now, turn this right side out. Look how gorgeous. You don't need to play with it to get it to lay a little bit. But I got a surprise for you guys. Now determine how you're going to wear it on your head. Find out what your front part's going to be. Okay? So this is going to be... So the Grouchy elf, I have hiccups again. Add a heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take not the white. Actually, I'll take the red. What do I want to sew it on with? I'm going to sew it on with green. All right. So I'm going to put some green yarn. If anybody's asking where I bought this, I looked at every craft store I could find, and unfortunately I could not find. These are wooden. The heart buttons. I had ended up having to buy these through Amazon. But if I had my choice, I obviously would have bought them at Hobby Lobby, because everybody that knows me knows I absolutely love Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to spread apart this yarn. Because I only need a strand of it. And if ever anybody knows, when you take yarn apart, usually it's a fuzzy mess. But again, Hobby Lobby shines, and I don't have those issues. First things you want to do is make sure your hook goes through those holes. All right, so determine where you want to place your heart. and put it in. Oh, I did it backwards. Forgive me. Come on up through the bottom. It's a more direct answer. I am just starting to get in sewing. My aunt, I inherited a sewing machine from my mother-in-law, and I feel very fortunate that I did. And I always loved sewing and classes like that, so I honestly can't wait to learn more. So my aunt, she's been sewing since my whole life, and she's amazing at it. So I'm going to just put a knot back here. And I think using the same green makes this very unnoticeable, which is very helpful. So I am going to just go through the heart a couple of times to make sure it's on there very well. And find, there we go. But if you're interested in the exact link of the ones that I got, send us a message. Come join us on Facebook. Send us a message, and I will give you that link. It is wooden, and I actually really like the fact that it's wooden. Okay. And then I'm going to take that end again. And secure it. And cut my ends off. And here is your headband. Ear warmer. Perfect to go along with the scarf, the hat that we have made. I can't wait to see yours. I hope you absolutely love this as much as I love it. Like, you have no idea how much I love this. This is just, when I get projects like this and I get them done, I'm just so proud to be able to share it with you guys. So show me yours when you're done. If you have any questions on this tutorial, please comment below, but you will receive answers a lot faster if you come join us on Facebook under WIP for Work in Progress and Chain. And if you want to see new patterns or something that's interesting you, or you're struggling with a pattern that you're reading, come join us. Message us. Our group, Maggie, Lauren, and myself will do everything we can to help you succeed in what you're trying to crochet. Until next time, everybody, thank you for joining us. Bye.